Why was Project Baltimore kicked out of the Baltimore City Juvenile Justice Center for trying to speak with an elected official? Our team was following the rules. We did not take a camera inside the public building, but we were escorted out by security.
As Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, we now have some answers which raise many more questions.
We can't record here?
No. Project Baltimore last week first showed you this video of an armed security guard escorting us out of the Baltimore City Juvenile Justice Center.
So we went in and we were told it's still a public building, but we were escorted out.
For nearly 2 months, we've been trying to track down Circuit Court Judge Judge Blomquist to ask him questions about his recent ruling that many feel jeopardizes school safety. After being denied access to the building, we called the Maryland Judiciary's public information officer, demanding answers.
And even though it's a public building that I'm not allowed inside, can you explain that for me, please?
Now, we have more information. In an email, the Maryland Judiciary told us we do have access to proceedings that are open to the public. But Project Baltimore, if we enter the building, may not attempt to seek access to Judge Blomquist. In other words, the government is telling us to not even try to speak with an elected official.
Think about that for a second. If you live in Baltimore City, you have the opportunity to vote for many elected offices. Federally, you can vote for president, vice president, along with U.S. House and Senate. On a state level, you vote for governor, lieutenant governor, state senate, House of Delegates, comptroller, and attorney general. And then there's a slew of elected city offices, including the mayor, city council, council president, state's attorney, sheriff, school board, and circuit court judges. The elected officials who hold most of these offices frequently take questions from the public and the media. Many of them hold regular press conferences. But a locally elected judge, like Blomquist, refuses to take questions from the public or the media. Why?
There will never be a situation where a judge in Maryland is going to respond to a reporter's request for an interview, even if it has nothing to do with a case.
Attorney Steve Silverman told Fox45 News, judges follow ethical and judicial integrity rules set by the Maryland Supreme Court. And those rules, according to Silverman, largely discourage judges from speaking with the media.
They have to demonstrate impartiality and fairness. They have to demonstrate proper decorum, demeanor. They can't say anything publicly which might show bias.
Justice, first question. Is there anything going on at the court these days?
Keep in mind, not all judges avoid the media.
I do think that what happened at the court is tremendously bad.
Current and former justices on the U.S. Supreme Court don't have a problem speaking to the press.
What you should do is be very literal interpreting text.
Also, if Maryland judges refuse media requests, the Maryland Judiciary pays officials to communicate on their behalf. Nick Cavey is the Judiciary's public information officer. His job is to deliver information to the public. Taxpayers pay him nearly $145,000 a year. Terry Charles is the assistant public information officer, earning more than $131,000 a year. But they, too, refused to interview with Project Baltimore. Instead, Cavey emailed us saying, judges generally cannot comment on pending or impending legal matters. But what we want to ask Blomquist about is no longer a pending matter.
A Baltimore City judge ends probation for a juvenile rapist.
In January, Project Baltimore first broke the news that Judge Blomquist ruled against the state's attorney's office and ended probation for a juvenile sex offender who pleaded to multiple sex offenses, including second-degree rape, involving this mother's daughter.
I was devastated. I was mad. I was extremely emotional.
That decision removed the teen from the juvenile sex offender registry, allowing him to return to school in person.
And adding this change, the safety of all students and children can be considered and kept at the forefront of all decisions.
Lawmakers in Annapolis, in response to our reporting on Blomquist's decision, are currently debating legislation that would help keep juvenile sex offenders out of schools. We want to ask Blomquist about those bills and his judicial philosophy concerning juvenile sex offenders, not about any particular case. So far, he refuses, and Silverman says that likely won't change.
You're not going to have any success trying to get a circuit court judge to respond to an interview in Maryland.
I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
I'm Chris Pabst. Thanks for watching. Here's another story to watch. Also, if you have a story idea, please send us a message.